Hey everyone, JT from Ebike here, and in today's video, we're going to show you how to build a budget gravel electric bike. So let's get into it. Before we jump into disassembling the Propella 7S, I just want to ask everyone, if you are looking to purchase any of the parts or even a Propella 7S of your own, please consider using the links down in the description. All purchases made through those links helps Ebike and helps us continue to make content a little bit different than the norm like this one. Also linked down in the description, we'll have links to our top Ebikes brands page, our Ebikes accessories list, and our Ebikes discount code page where we track all the deals on the electric bike brands that we follow. With all of those semantics out of the way, why are we customizing the Propella 7S? Well, I'm a tinkerer at heart. I really like modifying things, and I may be getting a little bit of cabin fever here in the Wisconsin winter that I need to work on a bike. So the Propella 7S I thought was a great candidate for this project. It's a lightweight, affordable, small motor and battery e-bike that I think has the capability to compete with some of the bigger brand gravel e-bikes that are out there. So my plans with this project are to try and do it as cheaply and affordable as possible. All in with this project, I'm trying to keep the cost of it down below what you would get from a big box manufacturer. Propella is a small brand based out of Washington State. They offer 4 models of bikes. The 7S that you see here is in the upper 2 of those bikes. They do offer 1 model higher than this, and that is the 9S Pro. That bike has a slightly bigger motor, a slightly bigger battery, but it also comes with hydraulic disc brakes. In my plans with this e-bike, the hydraulic disc brakes are not going to be the best option, as I'm trying to put drop bars and drop levers on there. Parts to put hydraulic disc brakes on drop bars and levers are not as readily available, so the Propella 7S is the best bike for the plans that I have. With all of those background information and stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and start disassembling this, and then we'll show you guys what I have in store. Man, the Propella 7S is really a great place to start for this project. It already comes with Shimano mechanical disc brakes. It comes with a front aluminum fork that does have spots for, I believe, fenders and also maybe a bag or two. We'll see how that stuff fits on once we get into it. As well as it's a fairly light and small frame already. So let's go ahead and jump over to the table. I'll show you the stuff that I'm getting ready to put on. All right, here is a look at the parts that we are gonna be putting on the Propella 7S. Again, these are some parts that we either had laying around or parts that I was able to procure for fairly cheap. We have terrain tires. These are a great 700 by 35C light case sidewall. They are tubeless ready. I might be able to get the wheels to set up tubeless. I don't think I'm really gonna mess with that because we are in the dead of winter here in Wisconsin, so the seal and everything would just kind of sit, but these do have a little bit of tread to them and some larger side nubs. So hopefully when I get out after all of the sand and stuff is still on the roads from winter, I'll be able to ride with a little bit of extra safety. I have these micro new shifters. Now, if you are familiar with e-bikes, you do know that the Propella 7S is a 1x shifting system. So it only has a derailleur in the back. It does not have a front derailleur. So these shifters that I got are a 2x7 setup, so I was able to find it on Amazon. However, I'm just going to be running a shifter cable to one of them, to the 7-speed one, so that I can still get through the 7 gears in the rear. One quick thing to point out about these shifters is that, like most drop shifters, they don't have motor cutoffs built into them. It's not something I'm super worried about, as the motor on the Propella 7S is not a very powerful motor. It's a 36 volt, 250 watt motor. However, they do make alternative options, externally mounted motor cutoffs that you can mount to cable actuated brakes very easily. Kind of helps fix the issue of there not being drop shifters with motor cutoffs built into them. We have some half knee pedals. These have a little bit larger pegs on them, so hopefully my feet won't be slipping as much. And then we have the Redshift suspension seat post and ergon seat. This ergon seat is one that I really enjoy. It's actually the one from my mountain bike. It's the exact same one that I ride on my mountain bike. And then this Redshift seat post is one that has been in the fleet for a while. We really enjoy it. It has this little bit of rocking here, but it's also a little bit sealed up. I'm really excited to give this a try since the Propella 7S does not have a suspension front fork. Now these are drop bars. These are gravel bars. You can see how they have a little bit of flare out on the bottom and these are from HED. These are a takeoff that I was able to get from our good friend Matt over at All About Bikes. There are plenty of options out on the market for gravel style handlebars. You can get different widths and things like that. I'm gonna give these a shot and see how I like it. And then I have some bar tape up here. These will give a little bit more cushion to my grip. Now, being that it is a gravel bike, we do have to talk about the accessories that I'm gonna be putting on with the bike, because when you're out riding on rougher trails, there's always a chance for you to get a flat or need to do some minor repairs. So here we have our bike case top tube bag. So this is one for a cell phone. It'd be nice to have a display in front of me, but this is just gonna mount right on the top tube. We've really been a huge fan of some of the bike case accessories. Then we also have our handlebar jack set up here. So these are the handlebar jacks. So if I ever have to replace a tire, I'll be able to mount these to the handlebars, flip the bike over and get to all of the tires and things. But along with that, we also have the saddle cover. So this is actually gonna go on the saddle, so that when a bike is flipped over, the two jacks are down, but the seat is the third point of contact. That'll stop the seat from getting marred up or damaged in any way. And then moving up from the seat cover, this is the handlebar jack saddle roll up. So what this is actually gonna do is it gives me spots to put all of the tools and my handlebar jacks. Speaking of tools, I have a Top Peak compressed air inflator here. I've got 2 CO2 cartridges. I have a dual purpose chain and tire lever set from Sierra. And then I have my favorite tool to carry along with me is my Top Peak little ratchet rocket. This has a chain brake in it, as well as a torque drive, and then all of the sizes to go along with that I would need to do a repair. The only thing I will need on top of all of this, being that this is an electric bike, is I will need a wrench in case I need to pull the rear wheel. So that's kind of a look at everything that I'm going to be doing. Obviously, the tools are not as important as the parts themselves. So let's go ahead and throw some of these parts on. First thing I'm going to do is get the tires mounted up, and give you guys an overview look at what the Propella 7S looks like when it's converted to a gravel bike. Now that I have both of the shifters on, I just want to stop the montage real quick and just kind of show them off to you. They do feel pretty good. They do have your brake lever at the bottom, and they do have your 2 shift buttons right here on the side. Other than that, the brake cable actually comes out the back of them and runs along the bars, whereas the shift cable, if you can see over here on this side, actually comes out the side. So the shift cable will be exposed. I'm okay with that, especially for the price. They feel pretty robust. I'm excited to see how they feel over time. To see if dirt and stuff like that messes with them. Keep you guys updated. But these are great for this budget e-bike conversion. Quick note as well, I did find them for sale a little bit cheaper on AliExpress, but you do have to wait. But I chose to get them through Amazon, so I have the warranty. Yeah, good, back into the montage. So while going to mount the display, I may have run into my first little hiccup. So the display here has a smaller diameter than the handlebars. The old Propella handlebars were a much smaller diameter. I was hoping to be able to mount the screen and display right in here next to the stem. And unfortunately, the diameter just does not fit. So I'm gonna have to think on this for a little bit and see if I can come up with a little bit of a solution here. Through the magic of editing, you will have a solution as soon as I come back. All right, and just like that, we are back with a solution. So I actually have a 3D printer. So I went ahead and drew this up in Tinkercad online, and then just kind of got my measurements and adapted 2 little bar clamps basically that clamp onto the wider diameter and adapt to the smaller diameter. So after a few iterations here, as you can see, I had just a couple. Lining up those little holes turned out to be quite the challenge. That is a pretty easy solution, especially if you have a 3D printer. If you are one of the few people that is going to replicate this project and you would like the STL for this to print, just let me know. I may upload it and just put it in the comments below. So it'll be down there for anybody that wants it. With that, here also you will see that I actually went ahead and got the bars all wrapped. This was probably one of my first times bar tape wrapping, so please don't judge it too harshly. I'm learning here. I did go ahead and tuck the 2 motor cutoff cutoff connection points up here in the frame to kind of clean up the look of the wiring. But again, like I said, if I do decide that I need those, I can go ahead and pull those out. So yeah, wrapping up the handlebars, we come down here to the tires. These again are Terrain Elwood 700 by 35C tires with just a little bit of more knobbiness than the old CST tires. And I probably could have gone a little bit wider of a tire here. I think the rims could have handled a little bit wider of a tire, and then as well as the room in the fork. And then looking around back here at the rear, I do believe we also have a little bit more room in there that we probably could have gotten away with. So if say we wanted to go with something, maybe a 40, maybe a 45 millimeter wide tire in there, we probably could have gotten away with that. On the subject of tires, I tried to set these up tubeless, but I just couldn't get the tires to seat, and I didn't have a tank to try and burst the tire onto the wheel. So what I am probably going to end up doing is actually putting some Tannis tire liners in here. So I'll run a smaller tube and then that foam insert to really kind of just give me that extra insurance that I'm not going to have to try and say fight the rear wheel off of this bike if I get a flat out on the road. And then everything else is pretty much stock besides the seat. So the Redshift suspension seat post and ergon seat are really what's going to set the budget of this project up quite a bit. The Redshift suspension seat post, while being super awesome and having a lot of suspension built into it, it is a pricey part. They also make a suspension front stem that I would love to throw on this bike as well. We just didn't have one laying around. I believe we do have one, but it's on a test bike. But a suspension seat post and seat are things that you really should match to the rider. We really like the SR Sun Tour seat post. It comes in at about $100, and you could get a thinner mountain bike style seat for somewhere between $30 to $50. And then you add in the handlebars, which range about $50. You have about $50 to $70 in the shifters, a little bit of time with the 3D print, depending on if you can print one yourself, and tires. All in on this project, you're looking at somewhere close to $300 or so, plus cables. You are gonna have to probably replace some cables depending on the width of the bars that you get, and bar tape. So all in on this project, you're really looking at it maybe another $300 to $500. Like I said, the suspension seat posts and stuff throws my budget up quite a bit, but it gives you an idea of what you can do on a budget when you're trying to build a budget gravel bike. The weather outside here in Wisconsin is not great, but I am, as soon as that snow and stuff melts and the roads are looking a little clear, I am gonna get out there and get you guys a actual riding review of what the Propella 7S handles like with drop bars. And another thing I'm gonna do that I have just kind of put in everybody's ear out there is that the gearing on this bike, it is a 7-speed, but they do make freewheels that are 8-speed, 9-speed, and even a 10-speed. So I may try going up to having a larger gear freewheel in the back if I determine that this is not something that I want. But man, this bike is quite the looker. I really like the style of a matte road bike, and this really ticks a lot of those boxes for me. I did not outfit a lot of my tools and stuff onto the bike, but that is only because we are probably gonna go out and ride in other places on other bikes before we do this one. So I didn't want to occupy those accessories onto this bike. And one quick other thing before I let you guys go, if you look down here, I did notice on the original Propella when I was riding it on my gravel driveway, the battery was jumping up and down a little bit. And what that was from is there was a little bit of rattle right here to the frame. I threw this cardboard piece in here as a test to see if that's where the rattling was coming from, and it sure was. So I'm gonna take probably an old inner tube and cut up a little bit of rubber and just put it on glue it to the underside of the battery tray there. But just something, if you are gonna be, say, converting this to a gravel bike, you're definitely gonna wanna put a piece of rubber in there, a little piece of neoprene, really anything, just something to isolate that little bit of extra bumps. And there are some other bikes out on the market that are gravel bikes that are on the budget side. We know Ride One Up makes the Gravel Edition Roadster. That is a single speed bike and also has a Gates belt drive on it, which is pretty cool. But just another option out there if you're not looking to, say, customize or build your own out of a Propella 7S or any other bike on the market, that is an option for you. Again, if you are looking to replicate and build your own Propella Gravel Edition, please consider using all the links down in the description. All purchases made through those links help directly support E-Bike Escape, help us continue to make content like this. Let us know what you guys think about this new video. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next one.